Everyone, welcome to the show. So, several Democrats are now calling for Joe Biden to exit the race. And even former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, is saying that we should be questioning Biden's mental fitness. So, maybe now some blue MAGA people out there will stop repeating Mika Brzezinski's talking points, about Biden's accomplishments in the past 3.5 years. Yes, Biden has been a better president than I thought that he would be. Do I have issues with some of the things that he's done or hasn't done? Yes. But overall, I've been happy with him. But here's the deal, guys. As I've said before, if Biden is the nominee, he'll have my vote. I have concerns, but I will vote for a 7-day-old open can of tuna that's been sitting in the sun before I'll allow the apricot antichrist to win again. But gaslighting people does not make them change their minds about this topic. The only thing it changes their minds about is the gaslighter, right? That person, whoever's doing the gaslighting, loses all credibility. Everyone saw. They saw what they saw. They heard what they heard at the debate last week. Telling people to ignore it because of what Biden has accomplished is not only insane, but it's irresponsible if we want to win in November. I mean, consider this. This is what it's like. I was thinking about this earlier. I have a family member who, over the past few years, has been showing some cognitive decline, like very serious. So the family members stepped in. They had to sit him down because he had a near accident, and they had to explain to him, it is no longer safe for you to drive. We're taking your keys. You're going to need people to drive you around. If they use this same bizarre Biden logic that some liberals are pushing, they would have said, oh yeah, he might be endangering himself and the public, but he was such a good provider, such a hard worker throughout his life. He's been so fiscally responsible. Look at everything he's accomplished, everything he's managed to achieve and amass. Let's not let one near accident, complete lapses in cognitive function define who he is, whether or not he should still be endangering people's lives. That is insane. That does not make sense. Just stop it. Right? It doesn't matter what someone has done in the past, what kind of job they've done up to this point. If they are no longer able to do it, think about any other person that you deal with. Would you hand your child over to someone who is cognitively impaired because, over the last 3 years, they've been okay? It doesn't make sense. So anyway, earlier today, Texas Democratic lawmaker Lloyd Doggett, I think is how you say his last name, Doggett, he was the first. He officially broke with Biden. He called for him to bow out of the race. Doggett said in a statement, quote, I represent the heart of a congressional district once represented by Lyndon Johnson. Under very different circumstances, he made the painful decision to withdraw. President Biden should do the same. Recognizing that, unlike Trump, President Biden's first commitment has always been to our country, not himself, I am hopeful that he will make the painful and difficult decision to withdraw. I respectfully call on him to do so. And then another Democratic congressman from Illinois, Mike Quigley, he was on CNN and he said today, quote, we have to be honest with ourselves that it wasn't just a horrible night. I think his 4 years are one of the great presidencies of our lifetime, but I think he has to be honest with himself. This is a decision he's going to have to make. Colorado Democratic candidate Adam Frisch, he also came out publicly. He said Biden needs to step aside for the good of the country. Ohio Senate candidate Tim Ryan posted on Twitter, and he said that, it's time to back Kamala Harris for president. He wrote, quote, we have to rip the Band-Aid off. Too much is at stake. Even Democratic Congressman James Clyburn is now publicly saying that he will support Kamala Harris if if she's on the top of the ticket, if Biden exits the race. Clyburn, remember, was largely responsible for Biden's win in 2020. He is a major figurehead, too, in the party, so that is a big deal. Now, I'm not sure what to make of all this, though, because Nancy Pelosi is encouraging Biden to do more unscripted interviews with the media. And he seems to be taking her advice, or he's taking somebody's advice, because he is planning to do an interview with ABC News. That's going to air on Friday. But Pelosi said on MSNBC, he needs to do a bunch of interviews. He needs to do multiple interviews. One is not going to cut it. And it sounds like Biden's team agrees. Some of his aides told Reuters today that their previous strategy of trying to limit his media appearances is not working. It's not tenable. So who knows? This might work, or, it might backfire, because even Watergate reporter, very famous Washington Post reporter, Carl Bernstein, he admitted, he is now a CNN contributor, and he was on today, and he said that Biden's whole debate debacle, that was not a one-time thing. Bernstein said that he's been speaking with sources who are close to Biden, and they're, quote, adamant that what we saw the other night, the Joe Biden we saw, was not a one-off. That there have been 15, 20 occasions in the last year and a half, when the president has appeared somewhat as he did in that horror show that we witnessed. And Bernstein hinted, these aren't people who are out to get Biden. These aren't people who are trying to undermine him. This is coming from people you wouldn't expect to hear this from. He told CNN, quote, what's so significant is the people that this is coming from, and also how many people around the president are aware of such incidents, including some reporters, incidentally, who have witnessed some of them. And Bernstein said the sources describe Biden as sharp. That was a direct quote, sharp. When it comes to national security, they said he has a, quote, command of the facts, but that, quote, these people who have supported him, loved him, campaigned for him, see him often, say that in the last 6 months particularly, there has been a marked incidence of cognitive decline and physical infirmity. So we'll see what happens, but it definitely seems the dam has broken. People are now making this public, which is never a good sign for a candidate. It means we're trying to get to you, and we're trying to shape public opinion to get you to do what we want. And like I said, guys, if it was anyone else in your life, would you trust them with your children, with your home, with anything else of value to you? I mean, this is one of the hardest jobs on the planet. You have to be on your A game. And again, I'll vote for him. I said the other day in my live stream, I will vote for Biden if if they're doing a weekend at Bernie's with him. I mean, if they have to prop his eyes open with sticks, with toothpicks, if they have to attach him to strings and make him like a real boy, I mean, I'm voting for him. I will do anything to keep Trump out of the White House again. He is psychotic. He cannot be the president. And now, especially with what the Supreme Court just did, giving him just, almost complete immunity over any crime he wants to commit. So this is vital. And the thing is, the Biden team just released some polling showing that he's still losing to Donald Trump, which I don't understand the logic of that. But then they showed that other people, other Democrats like Kamala Harris and, Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, a bunch of these different people, they're also losing to Donald Trump, but they're within like 1 or 2 points in head-to-head matchups. I mean, so they're not doing really any worse, maybe 1 or 2 points worse than Biden, but they're also not on the ticket. They also haven't been named as the candidate. So that would change everything. And what I get tired of is this, hypocritical logic. You'll hear people say, oh no, we have to keep Biden because he's the only one that can win. I mean, first of all, come on. Come on, Jack. I mean, that is like, how big does your ego need to be that you would say out of 330 some million people in this country, I am the only person who can beat Donald Trump? That's just twisted, okay? But then on top of that, you look at the polls and he's not beating Donald Trump. He is not winning. And these other people are basically also within the error of margin for these polls. So, and everybody says, oh, well, Biden's going to win hands down because so many people hate Trump. And, everybody knows that Trump is an existential threat and he needs to be kept out of the White House. Well, if that's true, if anyone could beat Donald Trump, then let's go for it. Take the issues of his cognitive issues, his cognitive infirmity off the table. I mean, what have we got to lose? Obviously, there's people who are just not on board with this after that debate. So you need to play an addition game. Right now we're playing a game of subtraction. We're taking people out of the mix and throwing them over to potentially third parties. Some might even go to Trump because of this. Why? Why? Because you like Joe Biden, because he's a nice man, you think that he's a good person? That's not a reason to gamble our entire country. I'm not willing to gamble our entire country. So anyway, I'll let you know when I hear more, but this is not a good sign for Biden. I know that they said they were going to hold a conference with the top brass in the Biden administration this afternoon. So if I hear any more about that, I will definitely let you all know. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe. Please donate if you possibly can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.